Welcome back everyone. Today we're diving into episode 12 of ABO Desire the series, and trust me, this one is going to break the internet because it's dramatic, emotional, and also one of the most intimate turning points between Sheng Shaoyou and Yong. If you thought the last episodes had tension, then episode 12 takes that tension, mixes it with desperation, and adds a layer of forbidden tenderness that fans have been waiting for. Let's go through everything that happened in this spoiler-heavy breakdown, and by the end you'll see why this episode will be remembered as one of the most important in the entire series. The episode begins with Yong facing the most painful sight: Sheng Shaoyou collapsed, weak, and poisoned. His body is shutting down and his usually sharp eyes are losing focus. As an S-class alpha, Sheng Shaoyou is strong, but even that isn't enough against the deadly poison running through his veins. Yong, seeing this, doesn't hesitate to act. He bends down, carefully lifts Sheng Shaoyou, and in a move that is both protective and heartbreaking, he presses his lips against the wound on Sheng Shaoyou's gland. He sighs and whispers how pitiful it is to see him like this. The words come across not as mockery but as deep sorrow because Yong knows that the man he loves is hanging between life and death. What makes this moment powerful is the introduction of Yong's soothing pheromones. Unlike others, his pheromones are not aggressive or overwhelming. They're cold yet gentle, wrapping around Sheng Shaoyou's fragile body like a blanket. The series highlights how highly compatible their pheromones are, almost as if they were always meant to match. The effect is immediate. Sheng Shaoyou's blue lips slowly regain a bit of color. For the audience, this is a signal that Yong's presence is not just emotional comfort but literal salvation. But here's where the big dilemma comes in. Yong realizes that ordinary care is not enough to save Sheng Shaoyou. The poison is too strong, and the only way to stabilize him is through a permanent mark. This is a huge deal in the ABO universe, because permanent marking is not just a survival tactic, it's a lifelong bond. Yong admits with regret that he had always wanted this marking to be something special, something that would come after marriage, a moment filled with celebration and consent. In fact, he even reveals that he once wrote a 100,000-word progress plan for how their relationship would develop. But now, with Sheng Shaoyou dying in his arms, Yong has no choice but to move the timeline forward. He leans close and explains to Sheng Shaoyou, almost like confessing, that he must mark him now to save his life. He asks for forgiveness in advance, saying that otherwise, the grief might drive him mad enough to kill someone. It's both a plea and a warning, and it shows just how deeply Yong's emotions are tied to Sheng Shaoyou's survival. Then comes the defining moment of the episode. Yong opens his mouth and bites down carefully on Sheng Shaoyou's gland. The scene is intense but not violent. The bite is described as light as possible, more like a vow than an attack. The moment his teeth sink in, the bond is sealed. Their pheromones intertwine, and the result is breathtaking. Sheng Shaoyou lets out a faint, nearly inaudible moan, signaling both pain and surrender. On his neck, a glowing orchid mark appears, unlike anything ordinary. This is no regular orchid, it's the ghost orchid, one of the rarest flowers on Earth, so rare that decades ago its price was over 10 million, and now it's considered priceless. Its beauty is otherworldly, glowing faintly like a snow frog in bloom. The symbolism is perfect. Sheng Shaoyou, rare and precious, is now marked permanently by Yong with a symbol that can only belong to him. The room fills with the cool, elegant fragrance of orchids, signifying their new bond. For Yong, the effect is overwhelming. His usually calm and controlled nature breaks, and he's filled with nervous excitement and pure satisfaction. For him, this is the peak of his life. In a moment of almost comedic exaggeration, his mind races. He feels so happy that he could forgive Shen Wenlang's massive debt of 7 billion yuan to X Holdings, and he even thinks about donating 40 billion yuan of income from inhibitor technology as charity. These thoughts, while extreme, show just how euphoric he is after finally marking the man he loves. It's like the entire world suddenly seems brighter to him. And yet, beneath that happiness is something darker, possession. Yong's inner voice reveals that now Sheng Shaoyou can never escape. He declares, almost like a king, that this alpha is finally in his palm, bound forever. He promises to always be good to him, but he also insists that Sheng Shaoyou will now become his exclusive omega, despite the fact that Sheng is technically an alpha. This twist is huge because it redefines their dynamic and shows how powerful Yong's mark truly is. The episode closes with a haunting shift of scene. We see them in X Hotel, room 9901. Sheng Shaoyou is not out of danger yet, his body trembles, he's feverish, and still deeply weak from the poison and the sudden change caused by the mark. The bond has saved him, but the cost is not fully revealed. For viewers, this ending sets up huge questions. Will Sheng Shaoyou resent Yong for marking him without full consent? Or will he eventually accept that this act was the only reason he's still alive? And what about the world around them, the political power, and the personal stakes that will surely be shaken by this unexpected bond? Overall, episode 12 is both beautiful and tragic. It pushes the romance forward in a way that feels fated, yet also morally complex. Yong's actions are born out of love, but they also cross a line, and this will create massive emotional consequences for both of them in the episodes to come. What stands out is the mix of tenderness and desperation. Yong didn't just mark Sheng Shaoyou to own him, he did it to save him. But by doing so, he also took away the possibility of choice. This duality is what makes the storytelling so powerful. Fans will undoubtedly debate whether Yong's choice was right or wrong, but one thing is certain, the ghost orchid mark is now burned into the series forever, both as a symbol of salvation and as a reminder of the heavy cost of love in the ABO universe. Episode 12 cements the relationship between Yong and Sheng Shaoyou as something unbreakable, and the fallout of this moment will shape the rest of the story. And that's the full spoiler breakdown for episode 12. This episode was intimate, shocking, and unforgettable. It gave us one of the most romantic yet controversial moments in the series so far, and it will be fascinating to see how the characters deal with this irreversible bond in the episodes ahead.